I will not let life conquer me. I will above it rise, because I believe in my possibilities. Fantastic Radio UK. Your music, your possibilities. Life can be challenging. However, within you dwells your possibilities. Believe in your possibilities and go for it. Fantastic Radio UK. Your music, your possibilities.
Very, very good morning. A very good morning. The 11th of August.
It is. Why are you hesitating?
Hesitation. I came on this morning with so many things running through my mind. And as we progress and as we go through, I will share with you where the hesitation comes from and why I was a bit hesitant in mentioning the month, particularly the month. But I'm well. 3 minutes past 7. My name is Kojo Bontia. Her name is Simone and Kojo. We are wonderfully excited and chuffed to have an opportunity to be at your service. For those of you who are listening on tuning and also on Google Play and also on Huawei, on smart television and Roku television, we want to say good morning to all of you. Good morning to all of you. And not forgetting those who are also watching us and enjoying the program on YouTube. Good morning to you. Simone, how are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm recovering from a double class of fitness on Monday. And, it kicks in about 24, 48 hours afterwards. Yes. All your muscles kind of seem to seize up. So I'm feeling a bit like that this morning, a bit tender. But I'll get through it.
I woke up this morning with a lot of optimism, but not the optimism that you sort of you have the optimism that knows that it's going to be okay. But there's this optimism where you hear news that isn't very promising, and you would have to find a way to encourage yourself, motivate yourself, and encourage and see how best you can squeeze out the juice out of the news that comes through. I'm well.
Okay.
If
are you going to explain it later, or is that something that I need to just...
Let's do it now in our pep talk as we get ready for...
Okay. It sounds like one of those situations where... Yeah, it sounds like one of those situations either you kind of circumvent it or navigate around it, ignore it and push it to the back of your thoughts, or you try and tackle it but not head on because it's still a kind of sore or emotive kind of topic. So anyway, that's me trying to deduce what you were trying to tell me or everyone else, but maybe I'll let you explain it better.
The results came yesterday.
Results?
The A-level results came in yesterday.
Of course. Yes. Oh my gosh, how can that escape my mind?
The A-level results coming yesterday.
So how did your young man do?
Sorry?
How did he do? Or how did...
clearly,
well, it's actually not at A-level stage. Actually, yeah, he's not at A-level stage, but he
it's
possibly
not A-level stage.
Yeah,
which he would have to perform very well. I hope that he gets on
he
with
will
it and
do.
make it happen.
Sure.
So he's going to do. He'll be doing GCSE in a few years' time.
Okay.
However, two young men who I mentor, one of them did exceptionally well. Exceptionally well. And he's found his way to go into Oxford.
Oh, wow. Very exciting.
And because my dear friend's son also did exceptionally well, and he's going to Sussex University.
Congratulations to them both. What are their names?
That's Dominic.
Yes.
And Anton. So Dominic lives
Anton, Dominic, congratulations.
Yes,
well
absolutely.
done on all your efforts, especially with all the turmoil of the past 18 months. You guys have applied yourselves very hard on your work, and you clearly come through the other side. So well done for all your hard work, and maybe duly rewarded. Of course, you've got your grades now, and you're looking forward to the next stage of university life, which I'm sure you're going to enjoy as well, because I did.
Yeah.
But I really applaud you for really applying yourselves, academically during this period and getting through. So well done and congratulations.
So Dominic is going to Sussex University, going to do law and American studies.
Wow.
Yeah, law and American studies. So he will do 3 years here. Then he goes to America to do the last year, comes back to graduate, and he goes into law school, and he becomes Dominic the lawyer. That's what he's working towards. So congratulations to Dominic. And Anton lives somewhere in Peckham. Yes. And Anton is going into Oxford to do history and English studies. And the funny thing is, he's always wanted to do history. I met Anton when he's 18. I met Anton when he was very, very young, and as part of a mentoring program. And I was asked, do you want to, mentor this young man?
Oh, nice.
And I said, yeah, why not? Let's do it. So we will talk and we will have conversations, and he will ask me stuff. And it started with Mr. Bunty, right? That's how it started.
What does he call you these days?
So
Mr. Bunty, what's your name these days?
So what did you say?
What's your name these days, Mr. Bunty? How's he refer to you now?
As Simone, you are really you've gone into the story. So he started with Mr. Bunty.
Yeah, I really want to know.
Yeah. It started with Mr. Bunty. Then he went into Kojo. Then he went into your mate. Then
wow.
It started with Mr. Bunty. Then when it went with Mr. Kojo, it started with Mr. Bunty. Then it went to Mr. Kojo. Then it went to Uncle. Then now
Uncle.
He came to your mate. And I'm thinking, okay, hold on a minute. Until I'm monitoring or I'm picking up some kind of transitions, right? Because you started calling me Mr. Bunty. You went with Mr. Kojo. The last time I checked, you were
now you're a mate.
Now you're calling me your mate, and I'm thinking, okay. So Anton, I don't know
if you've gone up or down in his esteem, though. What does that mean? What does that mean? Is it gone up or down in your his esteem?
Yes. So I said to him, tell me why you were saying that. I said, well, the last time I checked, you didn't have gray. Now you're having gray, and I'm seeing gray. So I can call you. I used to call you Uncle. I used to call you Mr. Bunty. I used to call you Kojo, and I'm calling you your mate. And I'm saying, listen, you can call me whatever you want to call me. Just go, live your dreams and live your possibilities. So Anton Adams is going into Oxford to go do
wonderful.
His hopes and dreams, and he's manifested it. And I'm exceedingly grateful. Also, my dear friend's daughter is going to university to go do chemical engineering in Warwick. And
amazing.
Yes,
Wow.
She's also going into Warwick to go do chemical engineering. And I'm so glad for them. Where I get a bit challenged is one of the young men didn't really come through. You know, it wasn't very much a story that we were expecting. He didn't get the university he wanted and didn't really excel. And he's looking at doing something else. So the whole of yesterday, I had to spend time with him and share some moments with him. And we had a chat. We had a.
I was about to say to you, what do you do as a mentor in that situation? But clearly, you know, you continue that journey and that relationship, and of course, you're looking to hopefully give him other options and choices and a different way of thinking about the outcome. Because of course, this is not the end of the road, is it? So
you are absolutely correct. Yeah. My role here. As a mentor, when a young person goes through, I call it the valley of life, I share with him, first of all, I am very honest and brutal with the truth and say, listen, I didn't excel at my A-levels, and I'm not glorifying or excelling at A-levels. However, I went through my own dark period when my A-levels results came through, because again, I had to go do I did O-levels and did A-levels private, and had to try different things. And I had to dig deep, right? Now, that wasn't what I wanted. That wasn't the results I wanted. But I said to him, listen, what has happened has happened. With all the corona and all the challenges that has happened.
Yes, exactly.
Listen, some people are going to not really glow. And not glowing this time does not mean you're not going to glow again. Not shining through this time does not mean you're not going to shine through. And during this period, his father was going through a very dark page in his life. And it really, really played a major role on his mind. So I said to him, listen, and to answer your question, Simone, I said to him, listen, you are going to come through this, and I'm going to be here 24/7. You call me any day, any time, any second when you are confused. You can call me anytime. Don't think you bother me. Don't ever think you have to call me when it's convenient for me. I'm giving you this permission. Call me anytime. Call me any moment. You got my mobile phone number. You got my house number. You got my email address. You got my Instagram. You got my Twitter. You got my Facebook and all the others social media platform. Hit me up. Get in touch. It could be a question as in, I'm not sure why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. I'm here to answer that question because it's a very defining period in your life. And don't think you have to go through alone. It's okay to look out for help. It's okay to ask for support. And and
there's strength in doing that as well, isn't there?
Say that again.
There's strength in asking for help from the right people, And clearly, you know, you guys have actually established a friendship as well as, you know, a mentor and mentee relationship. So that's wonderful that he can turn to you and continue to in this time when he's actually feels more challenged through this, you know, the outcome. But yeah, of course, you know, this is not the final outcome. There's so many other options, and he can take just a bit of a detour maybe in these choices, but it means that he'll still arrive hopefully at the end with what he's aiming for to start with. But well done. Yeah, so it's good.
He's going to fulfill that dream. Exactly. He's going to fulfill his dream. And I said, listen, you would certainly go to university. If that is where you want to go, you were going to go in there. And let not this be any stopping of you going to fulfilling your dreams and manifesting your dreams. And I want to also chip in this as we prepare to go for music. 15 minutes past 7. Our pep talk is going a bit deeper, but I want us to have a chat and say something. I want to share something with parents whose children did not really come through as you wished and hoped and desired. We got to be patient with young people. We have to be patient with young people and hold their hands, metaphorically and physically, if you can, and say, listen, I'm here for you. Let us make the time to let them know that this is just a season in their lives that they're going to find a way through. Okay, so let's find a way to encourage young people, and those who didn't really excel, please let's take the time to find a way to encourage them. Sometimes they don't necessarily need us to take them on holiday. Sometimes all they need is to know that we are proud of them, regardless of what has happened. We are just happy that they are there. They are human beings. They are there, and they are learning something, and they are going to learn from this. Out of this, many children are going to rise in fulfilling their dreams. Out of this, many children are going to come out of this in manifesting their dreams. If you are a young person, who has always wanted to do radio, and things have gone a certain way, and you want to get into radio, and you're not sure how you want to get into radio, please get in touch with me personally. Get in touch with me. And from November, I'm going to give you a 1-year training with us here on the station. I'm going to hold your hands. I'm going to take you through this process. Okay. And when we go full live on air, I'm going to put you on either as a producer or either as a presenter on the station.
What a wonderful opportunity.
And we are going to make that dream of you wanting to be a radio presenter possible. How about that? So if you're a young person listening and you've always wanted to do radio, you are not too sure, you're not very sure whether you want to go to university, you want to go to university, but you want to dive into radio, and you are very in a state where you need somebody to support and hold your hands, and radio is what you want to do. I promise you, I give you my word. Hit me up. Send an email to me personally, right? Get in touch with me. It's bonti@fantasticradio.co.uk. If you rewatch this, you're a parent and you see this video, and your son, your daughter wants to do radio and wants a way into this industry. Yes, we are working so hard to build something huge and big to add value. And I can add value to you as a young person. Please get in touch with me and let's make your dreams possible. 18 minutes past 7 on Fantastic Radio, home of possibilities. Her name is Simone and Kojo. My name is Kojo Bonti Amwako. Let's do music. Our guest, Rasheed Ogunlaru from soultraderbusiness.co.uk, becomes our guest today. Let's do music.
Connect with Kojo on Twitter @BontiAmoako or on email bonti@fantasticradio.co.uk.
Life, it is something that we're all so afraid of, scared of our magical self. Don't know the heart and the love that we're made of, mind running, fighting to live. How do I go on? Without you, I'm lost. How is it we end it here? Without you, we're not. I'm not the thought, I'm never tired, I am the nameless, I am ageless. You talk a college and a creed you can't define or confine me, there is no language. I am timeless, for I'm free, free, free. I'm free, free, free. I am free, free, free.
You can reach Simone and Kojo via simone@fantasticradio.co.uk. and connect with her on Twitter at Ankle Simone.
Simone can be found on Twitter at Uncle Simone. Uncle Simone. And Simone at fantasticradio.co.uk. Mine is Bonti Amwako. And you find me on Twitter. And you can certainly be in touch with me as Bonti at fantasticradio.co.uk. When we were playing those beautiful, beautiful short pieces of our guest, I got the information from the whole production team saying to me, you got to make it specific. What's going on with this apprenticeship thing? You're going to get a swamp of emails. Thank you very much, Simone.
Let's hope you will get a positive reaction. I have no doubt about that. It's just we might have to tweak some of the quota, I suppose. But that's totally fine. If not, then we're a people and also a place where, if we cannot accommodate on one occasion, we'll try and connect to other people. So we try and build that bridge and define that bridge between us and the resources that are out there. So don't feel disheartened, please still come through, still inquire if it's something you're interested in. And that will be for the apprenticeship being offered by Kojo Bantimoko regarding the apprenticeship for a year's apprenticeship with the radio station. Yeah. So yes, for those that are coming through, we'd be very happy to hear from you. But of course, we're going to make sure we can accommodate all people involved. So thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing that up. 23 minutes past 7. And also, if I could say this, some people can do 1 year, some can do 6 months, some can do 3 months. We would have to split the apprenticeship within the year. Okay, so some would have to come through to do 2 months. Some would have to come in to do, we could have to break it down to 2 months each, from November, and see what we can go with this. We have to learn and build as we fly. Okay, so if you come through to us, we would give you those two months. Come through. Let's do what we can do. Give you the opportunity. Check it out, whether it's the kind of thing you want to do, because this thing requires a lot of discipline. This thing requires a lot of work. This thing requires a lot of thinking. Radio is not just playing music. Radio is an art, right? Radio is an art. It's not just coming in, playing music and getting on with it. You are dealing with people's lives. You are dealing with people's hopes. You are dealing with people's interests. It's a theater of the mind. You are dealing with people's aspirations, so you can't just take people for granted. And if you do, it will come through the way you present your message. Right. So if you're a young person and you want to do this radio and take it further, you don't have to work with us. You don't have to stay with us. You come and do 3 months or 2 months, check it out and see. There are people who are put you in touch. And even if it's not this place you want to work, I can always refer you to other places. I say, look, go check this thing out if it's a thing that you want to do. But what we want you to do is to not throw the towel in and think it cannot be done, and not manifest your own possibilities. It's important, okay? And that's the word to that young man, that young lady who is looking to get into radio and hoping and trusting. Enough of me talking and talking.
Oh, yes, enough of you, because we're waiting for our guests. And we just had a little burst of his music, didn't we? We heard some lovely tones from Rasheed Ogunlaru.
Yes.
And so the music interplay just a moment ago was some of his sounds. We've actually had him featured as a guest before.
Yes.
And he's so multifaceted. We didn't actually have time at the time to accommodate to his music side, the musical side of him, but we're going to try and explore a bit more about that, and of course we'll touch about his business aptitude as well. But we'd love to actually hear more from Rasheed and less from Kojo. Sorry, Kojo.
More from Rasheed and less from Kojo. Rasheed, you see what Simone is done to you this morning. 5 minutes past 7. Good morning to you, Mr. Ogunlaru.
Good morning to you both. And you know what? I always think that's such a good sign. That kind of banter and that play is so really
lovely human being. Lovely human being, Simone.
Pleasure. When I was in the waiting room, and then I thought, this sounds familiar. This is really good. And then I realized
Oh, good morning to you.
How are you doing, sir?
Very well. Really, really glad to be here. And how are you both doing?
We're good. We're very good.
We're very, very good. We're very, very good. We want to go straight into your book. Rasheed is out with his book, The Soul Trader, and we've been talking around it. I've been talking around it, and I've read bits and pieces around it. I've had time to go through. My copy is there. I've done a lot of writing, and the reason why I haven't shown it is that I've done a lot of writing through, because I have done a lot of writing through, and today we wanted to focus on the seven principles in this book that Rasheed has written. For those of you who want to know more about Rasheed and go to understand the book and get the book on Amazon, you go to Soul Trader, as in soul-trader.biz. Rasheed, am I correct with the
that's right. Soul as in heart and soul hyphen trader.biz, BIZ. Or you type in Soul Trader and go to Amazon, you'll find it. But that soul-trader.biz is a resource for people on this journey of thinking about or starting out being their own boss, which isn't easy, which can be challenging. And so the book I wrote, in fact, next year can you believe it will be its 10th anniversary. And I wrote it for anybody who's wanting to go on that journey of being their own boss, And very often when we think about business, and even when we think about small businesses, we still kind of think about business with the loads and loads of people. Did you know that over about 90% of the businesses in the UK are businesses with less than 9 people, and a huge percentage of those businesses are just one person? So this is for all those incredible people out there doing all sorts of things. They might be a barber, they might be a hairdresser, they might be a therapist, they might be a consultant, they might be a trader, all sorts of people doing all sorts of different things. They might be a dressmaker, they may well be in all sorts of incredible industries. Who there's just one person. So I wanted to write a book about how do you build an authentic business from your heart, low cost or no cost. And so that's what the book is really essentially about, because most people can find the idea about business daunting or feeling that it's about huge investment or this and that. And it needn't be. There are so many people doing incredible things who you may well have worked with in your home, in your garden, who does your hair, your makeup, your clothes, or whatever, do so many different things, who are just one person, and lots of people are aspiring to go on that journey.
Rasheed, I will come to that, and would sort of delve into the nitty-gritties and the 7 principles. I would also want to find out from you, Rash, what is it that people going into business, sometimes the other time when you came through, we discussed about fear and the uncertainties, but I want you to sort of share with us the fear of success. The fear of success. Is there a thing like that? Is there a thing like a fear of success, and where does it come from? Because there's the fear of failure, where you are unsure of what's going to happen, and the insecurities that comes with it. But I also noticed that there is the fear of success, where it's going to happen, and you're not too sure how you're going to conduct yourself through it. What is that emotion, and does it really exist?
Yeah, it's very interesting, because one of the themes, one of the chapters that we'll explore is courage. So courage, of course, has got a link there to what you mentioned, which is fear of success, fear of failure. I think that really what we've got here when we're talking about those kind of fears is, in life there are so many expectations that we either have on ourselves or that other people place on us that emerge from very early on. Yesterday, people just got their exam results, didn't they? The huge pressure, the pressure if I fail, the pressure if I this person's going to succeed more than me. So from very, very early on, we're taught these notions around success and failure. And they are very subjective. It will vary from one family to another, from one place to another place. So we have all of these notions about what it is to succeed, what that looks like, what it is to fail. For me, the only failure is for me to not embrace oneself and to not put one foot in front of the other, or to try our best. But even that can be putting a pressure on that. You already are who you're already who you are. So you're already who you are, and that's our starting point. But you're right. But lots of people carry this idea about success and failure, but it's because of our projections and our expectations. Without that, take a little baby. A baby doesn't think, oh my goodness, when it's trying to learn to walk, I've tried to get up 1,000 times and I've not managed to walk. It doesn't think that. That thought process emerged yet. So it's very, very taught. So success, failure, I think are really important notions that we look at very, very, very gently. And it's better to start off with who am I, what really resonates with me, how is it that I'm able to do the best that I can where I am at right now.
31 minutes past 7. I'm doing all the talking, and my co-pilot is thinking, when am I going to talk? You were going.
No, I wasn't saying that. I wasn't. I'm not so rude, honestly. That's really mean of you to say that. No, not at all. No, I wanted to. I'm very happy to hear more about the book, of course, and you've actually mentioned something about self-trust before, and the book it's existed for about 10 years, hasn't it?
That's right. Yeah, next year will be its 10th anniversary. And Simone, so many people will be thinking, I want to do my own thing. I want to be my own boss, and so that there can be so many concerns that people have even about to even try. And so that first question around success and failure can be really, really huge. That we're comparing ourselves before we've even started out in anything. So there's so much stuff, and it's so interesting that you mentioned then self-trust. Because I think that so much about this is, first of all, just being on your own side. And what we do know is that if you are going to be your own boss, if you're going to be in business, you are going to need to be on your own side. A huge success factor, whatever that is, we've already touched on that, will be you backing yourself, believing yourself, knowing what your own qualities are. And so that's a huge part of it, that self-trust and self-love, actually, ultimately.
Yeah. Wonderful. How do you strike a balance between your music and life coaching? Because, of course, it's not just a book you've released. You've got a business behind this, Soul Trader, as well as a business. And you're a keynote speaker in many places and on different platforms. You've been doing that also in conjunction with your book. And then, of course, the music, was that your first love, or was that something that evolved after?
Yeah. Good questions. The order of events was the very first thing I wanted to be was an author when I was a kid. I used to find myself writing books. So it's funny that that was the very first thing I wanted to be. I used to write science fiction novels. That was the very first thing I wanted to do. And it just so happened my English teacher had been a best-selling author, and then I found that really inspiring. That I could see that was possible. When I left school now, I didn't really have a clue, and I didn't know, could you write as a career? I didn't know it's a valid career option. And I thought, well, what's the nearest thing to that? And I thought, well, media or journalism. I ended up working for the Witch Stapler magazines and books, and where I became a press officer and a press assistant. And that's where lots of stuff around media began, because I used to, among other big things, be responsible for training people to appear on TV and radio. And then what happened, after 10 years, I was made redundant, and I asked myself again, what did I want to do? And I'd always had an interest in music, but as a kid, just listening to it. And I thought at that time I was about, I was about 27 when I knew that was going to happen, which was kind of late to start music, but I thought, let me just go for it. Let me jump into it. And so then I pursued music, and I learned to sing. I took singing lessons. I began to just explore around music, and one of my best friends had been a musician and had been a singer, and I, among other things, kind of danced in his backing group. So I'd been around music as a kind of partly hobby back in the background, but I thought, let me go for it. And I think one of the things I'd say at this point is to any listener, whether they think about business or their career, and I know you were both talking before about apprenticeships and so on, don't be afraid to try different things. Don't think that your career is going to start off with one thing and that you can't do another thing. You can change several times. So what happened in my career was it started off with really working in media. Then when I was made redundant, which I thought at the time was really awful, it became a blessing. I started to pursue music. But then what happened with music, as I was pursuing it, I met so many people, singers and performers, who struggle with life balance, confidence. It's a tough industry. As we know, music entertainment is a very tough industry. And I'd always had an interest in around personal development, people development. I know you've had a long interest in that. You both do. This whole show is really about self and people development. And my best friend, who was also a musician, was really interested in this stuff. And he told me about coaching. I didn't really know about coaching, about the sporting side. And so I went off and I trained as a coach with the intention of helping singers and performers take charge of their own life. And then bit by bit, the coaching took the lead. And the music took the back seat. And then after a few years, I thought, hang on a minute, music is still there. And then it re-emerged. So for me, now there's the blend of all those things. So you're right, Simone, that the lead is that I'm a coach, speaker and author, life coach, business coach, leadership coach. SoulTrader.biz emerged after the Soul Trader book emerged. It's my business website. The main stuff is Rasheed Ogunlaru, coach, speaker, author, and that business coach is an offshoot of that. But the music is still dear to my heart. And funny enough, after this today, I'm going off into the recording studio, and music is more of a, for me, I don't want to say hobby because it's more than that. It's a love.
It's more than a hobby because you've actually made another release, haven't you, recently? Yeah. Was that December? Did I get that right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. December, the new album, The Awakening, came out. So yeah, I balance both, but fortunately for me, my livelihood doesn't depend on the music, so I can really explore it. So, and I think it took me a while to re-embrace the music and think, and realize that they're all dimensions of who it is that. And I think that's really important for anyone who's listening. And there are many people who may be listening to the show now, and they'll have what people now call portfolio careers with a number of different things that they do. And there's so much, there's a joy and there's a beauty in, we are often multifaceted as human beings.
37 minutes past 7, talking to Rasheed Ogunlaru, coming from www.soul-trader.biz. Sharing with us what goes into it and how he's been able to navigate his career and other things that he's doing. Let's do music, and as we come back, I would love to get into the 7 principles within the Soul Trader book. Let's go.
Passion, creativity, and resilience are the most crucial skills on the entrepreneurial journey. If you've got those, you're ready to embark on the journey. Fantastic Radio UK. Your business, your possibilities.
Like a moth to a flame burned by the fire. My love is blind, can't you see my desire? That's the way love goes.
Right, where should we start?
The monkeys.
Okay, we'll start with the monkeys. Then we'll see the elephants. Then the rhinoceros. Then we can see the penguins being fed. Then we'll have some lunch ourselves, but not fish. Then we can see the snakes and the creepy crawlies and the tigers and the lions. Then I'll buy you an ice cream. Then you wind me up. Then I'll lose it, and then I'll hate you. Then we'll see the camels and go home.
If you thought about it first, would you ever hit your children? Hit means lost it. For advice and information, call the NSPCC on 0808 800 5000.
Yeah, ladies, I know you're tired of the same old thing. Things have become so mundane. I mean, your bedroom is just so cold. It's so cold, but I'm here to tell you, I got a strategy. We better heat it up. Come on. You'll be comfortable. We about to do something you never done before. Baby, not the usual. Tonight we're getting unpredictable. So try to roll with me, baby.
Hello?
You to me are everything, the sweetest song that I could sing. Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
A mobile top-up card and 2 helium balloons, £17.
Who picks you up each time you're down? Oh, baby. Wait.
Making your girlfriend laugh,
Right.
however far away she is. Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard, accepted for all kinds of tricks and treats.
Yeah.
Red, red wine goes to
makes me forget that I still need your love. Red, red wine, it's up to you. All I can do,
My name is Tony Anthony John. I've had throat cancer. They've come in and removed my voice box. This was caused by smoking. Don't smoke. Do not smoke.
Anthony Hicks also found it difficult to listen when people warned him to stop smoking. Sadly, he died of throat cancer last year. For help giving up smoking and details of your local NHS Stop Smoking service, call 0800 169 0169.
If you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. Fantastic Radio UK. Your dreams, your possibilities.
Your dreams, your possibilities. 42 minutes past 7 on Fantastic Mornings. My name is Kojo Bonti Amwako. Her name is Simone and Kojo. Our special guest, Rasheed Ogunlaru. For those who want to contact Rasheed Ogunlaru, you can go to his main website, is Rasaru, RASSARU.com. You go to Rasheed Ogunlaru's website, and every information you would love to know about Rasheed, it's there. It's www.rasaru.com, where you find the links to his social media, his YouTube channels, and all the conferences that he's speaking at, his, the Catch the Coach, his trainings, and all the lessons he conducts at the British Library. It's also on the website. You go on there, it's there. I have been to a couple of his trainings, and you clearly can tell I'm a fan, and I love it. And I salute the work he does, and the empathy and the love and the respect that he gives to the entrepreneur, because this journey can be quite lonely, it can be very dark, it can be very, can be quite daunting, and to have somebody on the other side saying, listen, I'm dealing with this, what do you think? I'm not sure of this, what do you think? And he's always been there for me, and I feel that other entrepreneurs can also access his services. Rasheed, in your book, Soul Trader, there are 7 powerful soul trader principles that you introduce in the book, and people would have to get the book to really follow the details. So I wouldn't really bore many people with it, but you discuss and you sort of demystified a lot of things, but you went in with 7 principles, and you go into clarity, customer, courage, cooperation, conversation, creativity, compassion. And I would love us to sort of rush through it, and people would have to go get the book on Amazon or your website and be able to really drill it down. Start with clarity. You said vision is the hallmark of great entrepreneurs. It's the hallmark of great entrepreneurs. Know your mission and utilize your unique story and value to stand out and propel you forward. Talk to me about clarity, please.
Yeah. Well, clarity is where it all begins, because and the reason why we've got these 7+1 principles is a really simple step-by-step way to help people start from who am I, where am I, how am I going to make this thing work, through to hopefully starting and growing a successful business. It starts with clarity. I have a saying that unless you're clear, nothing's clear. So the clarity chapter is about who are you, what's really important to you, what are your strengths, what are your skills, what are your talents, what's your passions, what's your sense of your mission and your vision, because that's key, because on any journey, you've got to know where it is that you're going to. So that first chapter helps you to clarify who am I, what am I about, what are my strengths, and to go on a journey that is really meaningful for you. And it's one thing starting off being clear, but you're going to need to keep clear. along the journey. You're going to need to keep checking in, to clarify and to check in with yourself. So that chapter's about helping you to gain that perspective, gain that insight, so that you're clear who you are, what you're doing, what you're trying to create, and clear about what are some of the key steps that I need to do to go along this journey. So that's where it begins, with clarity.
What is the customers? Once you are clear, view your business from customers' viewpoint. It will save you money, win you business, and create brand loyalty.
Right, this is really key, because it's all very well, I've got a business idea to do whatever it is, to run my flower store, to my jewelry business, my events business, whatever it is. But ultimately, your business is going to depend on your customers. And what can happen is what I call the danger, is what I call the blindness of the visionary. I'm such a sense of what I'm doing. I've not thought about what my customers want. So the customers chapter is, who are they? What are they about? What do they want? And so on. So really, in simple terms, you might think, well, I'm running a floral business, flower business. It's anybody who wants flowers. But if you think about it, what Tina, the teenager, wants might be completely different to Brenda, the bride, might be completely different to Bob, the business owner, in terms of what they want, how much they'll spend, what their budget is, and so on. So the customers chapter helps you take off the hat of being you and step into your customer's shoes and understand what's their pain, what's their problem, and so on. It's the marketing side. Who are they? What do they want? How do I reach them? How is it that I can build that connection with them? And how is it that they can continue to stay in touch with me? It's also the money side. How many customers do I need? What are the logistics involved? Because there's going to be a lot of that side as well. So it really helps you understand your customers, understand the customers and the cash side of business, which is absolutely key.
The third of your 7 principles is courage, which you mentioned earlier. So it's identify your strengths, adopt the attitude of an athlete, and run your own race, which is very apt for the Olympics we've just witnessed. Yeah. So courage, tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, it's so appropriate for the Olympics we've just had, or the Paralympics, because of course people of all backgrounds, different abilities are going to be on this journey. And I'd like to see more people of all backgrounds in business, I think. But the courage relates to all of us. It can take courage to start. It can take courage to grow the business. It can take courage to even articulate that, oh my goodness, I want to be my own boss at some point. So the courage bit, first of all, helps you to tap into your own story, because it might well be there been all sorts of personal things or career things where you've already had to have courage, all sorts of setbacks, and we all will have had those. So it helps us to tap back into our own sense of courage. And that will play out so differently for each individual person. And for me, a lot of the courage with starting the business was actually about the courage to be authentically my own take on what coaching was about. The inner peace, the inner fulfillment, all of the stuff that you can't see, trust, honor, respect, and so on. Because lots of
I hear that, because I think I think what you're saying there is you want to be your own version of a coach. You don't want to be a textbook coach. You don't want to sort of just be another carbon copy. You want to be your own version, so that people can actually relate to you more through that.
Right. So it's that meant, without that courage to trust that my stuff was about the trust, flow, and so on, rather than, it's funny enough, we started with the notion about success. My thing was about, well, success, or achieving this, and that. For some people, it's just about being themselves. So for me, the courage was to trust that. And actually, if I hadn't trusted that, I wouldn't have the business. And certainly the Soul Trader book wouldn't have come along. So I had to trust that. So often through the courage, you find your own unique voice and your own place in the marketplace. So that's really important.
Excellent. And your 4th principle, cooperation. Business equals relationships. Build support and use your network to create and access opportunities.
Right. So for a Soul Trader, okay, it might be just me one, but I can't do it alone. Look, there's a radio station, there's the 2 of you, there's the people who do the other people don't see, who help the sound, the engineering, and so on.
Yeah.
But the solo 100-meter runner, there's a team. So the friends, family, the contacts, you're going to need somebody to help you with a website, you might need an accountant, and so on. So it's about what are the things I have and what are they need, and how is it I'm able to build a team? It doesn't necessarily need to be that they're employees, but people who can help me along that journey. So cooperation is key. Yeah.
Interesting. Rash, as we go through this, few things are coming through. He said the right words open doors, and while the wrong ones close them forever. Trader shows how to generate opportunities and avoid conflict. Go into that, because I would love you to I would love to go into the conflict management thing and how to avoid conflict. Is it possible one can really avoid conflict?
Well, it's really interesting because you've now picked up on the 5th chapter, which is conversations. And I say that customer conversations, customer conversion, which is what we want the customers, is dependent on that customer conversation. And I say the book begins with open sesame. The right words at the right time will open the door to unknown treasure. The wrong words will lock them forever. We know that in the world we live in, be it with social media or anything. So everything I say, do, or don't say or don't do, it will actually speak volumes about me and in business. So what is your website or lack of saying? What is your social media saying? What is it you're saying when you're out and about with people? And actually the conversations may also start off with our friends or family, making sure that the people who are nearest and dearest know who it is that we are. You know, it's really powerful. Very, very briefly on that, I met a contact of mine who's, funny enough, whose background was in communications yesterday, and he was telling me that his daughter's quite entrepreneurial and so on, and she's always wanted to run a particular business, and it's around horses and around healing and so on. And just by chance, funny chance, she discovered that the area that she was, there was another lady doing something very different, very similar in the same area. She had the courage to reach out and have a conversation. They're now exploring how they can work together. Conversations are everything. Every opportunity that's happened in my life has come from the conversations. And crucially, for a sole trader, often, you know, be it networking, going out there, meeting people and so on, can be one of the lowest costs ways to grow your business. So it's incredibly important, this conversations chapter, and having the courage to connect with people and to talk to your existing and potential customers authentically.
Creativity. Girls know when to work, rest, and be your best. Tap into your creativity and build in free time to boost your business and your life balance. Talk to me about that.
That's the longest chapter in the book, and in a way it was the most challenging chapter to produce, because I tell you why. Because business is the result of creativity. You have an idea, right? But then you've got to make it happen. So what I realized with this chapter, I needed to combine both the intuition, the intuitive and the creative side that many people are drawn to, you know, that they've got an idea and so on. And then what you were touching on before, you know, Kojo, the fact that actually there's a lot in it. There's a practicality, the blood, sweat and tears. It was interesting. I discovered a quote the other day by Usain Bolt. It took me I can't remember what he said, something like 12 years to run 9 seconds. You know what I mean? So absolutely. So the point is, this chapter helps you to understand what you like at your best. How is it you get your best out of yourself? And what's the blend of structure and serendipity, you know, happy accidents and space that you need. It really helps you to understand those things. And it also introduces you to my 2-page business plan, which is in the book, to give you structure, because there'll be those people who are very structured who need to learn to be more creative, and those people who are very creative who have to learn to be structured in order to have a business, because without structure, it is not going to happen. Without the structure of all the things going on in this radio station, nothing happens. So I might have this idea in my head, but without the structure, it's meaningless. So that's what the creativity chapter is about, blending those things together.
Rush, feeding on this creativity thing and what Usain Bolt said really made me smile, because I was having a chat with my 13-year-old boy, and he will watch this, you know, he will listen to the station, and he tells me, yeah, what you're doing is different and blah, 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 blah. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? But he said something to me, Daddy, how come you do this thing? It comes so easy, you know. So I'm wondering, how do you open the mic and you got something to say? How do you do this? That's what my son said to me, because he's watching and he's asked me that question. And I said to him, young man, it's taking me years. It's taking me years to sit and do a 2-hour radio show. I remember when I started doing it, when I had to sit in the station on air for 3 hours, do a show by myself, produce it, handle the console, getting the content, doing the research, getting the guests through, and pushing this thing through. I never, ever thought that it was preparing me for these moments where I can just open the mic and things will come. I remember one of the mentors that I had in radio would say, listen, sit down and read. Sit down and read. Nobody's interested with your smoothness. Nobody's interested in whatever you know, but just add value. If you add value, People are going to gravitate towards what you're doing. And for me, I love what Usain Bolt said. It takes years of dealing with the craft, sharpening the skill, finding different ways, creating your own syntax, understanding your story, and being able to craft your own story. There is nobody like you as an entrepreneur. There's nobody like you. You are who you are. Some coming loud, some coming quiet, some we come in different shapes and sizes. Please come to the table with the best of you, and the people who are for you, they will gravitate towards you. Because again, we are not called for everybody. We are not called to serve everybody. And if we are going to come to the table with the best of ourselves and be compassionate with ourselves, we'll be able to excel at our peak. Talking about compassion, you talk about compassion in your book, and you say that Soul Trader shows how to connect a deep heart level, connect on a deeper heart level by being compassionate on yourself and creating richer relationships with others. What does that mean?
So really, the Soul Trader book is ultimately, like all my work, it's all about love. It's about loving you, loving what you do, and loving others too. And business is ultimately about service. Everything else is an overlay. The money, the this and the that and that. All you really have is you have the planet, you have resources, you've got different people with different skills. And we then claim, human beings put in the borders, the this, the that, and then they claim that this company owns this, the land, which is actually rubbish. Really, if you look at it ultimately, all you have is this beautiful planet, these remarkable people with different skills and abilities, and then everything else is an overlay, the commerce of this and trade. You know, if you think back in the marketplace originally, this person's got a cow, this person over here has got sheep and they can make clothing, you know, we exchange. But over a period of time, you know, businesses develop, there's money and there's the marketplace and all the rest of it. So compassion chapter is about loving yourself, really appreciating who you are. It's about doing business from the heart, genuinely loving your customer and not their cash, not just their cash, really caring about your customer and not just their cash, and also caring about you, because the journey, as you pointed to, is going to be really, really tough. The journey is going to be really, really tough. There's going to be highs and lows. But when you do really love your customer, when you do really care about your customer, there's not going to be first. People can come to you. They're not going to come to the next person. They're going to come to Simone. They're not going to come to the next one. They're going to come to a Kojo station. They're not going to go to the next. Why are they going to do that? Because they feel at home. So that's really the key. That understands that deeply. You know, that is the most powerful type of marketing. And it ties to in the clarity. And then finally, the eighth chapter is change. It's a hidden chapter. Everything has changed. The world's going to change. You're going to change. The economy is going to change. COVID's changed everything. Everything will constantly change. The technology will change. So it's about embracing change and being the change, being change itself, being the change maker, enabling people to change in their lives and so on. And so that's the journey of this book, from clarity through compassion and through to change and transformation for yourselves and those people that you serve.
You know, I can say from the depths of my heart, thank you for coming through, Rash. I've learned something this morning, and what I've learned is conversion starts with conversation. That's one thing that I'm going to go away with, and we're going to put that on the fantastic sales book. Conversion starts with a conversation, and I'll give credit to you.
You might have to invoice him for that tagline.
I knew Simone was going to say that. Oh God!
He clearly posted it on Rasheed, you know.
I knew Simone
recently just posted it on him and just said, "I'm going to use it." He might actually ask permission. So,
Rush, I would have to borrow that from you and say that conversion starts with a conversation.
That is a good one.
Can't do that. You know, it starts with a conversation.
That's right. Absolutely. Customer conversion starts with the right customer conversation. Absolutely.
Talk to us about some of the conferences and meetings that you are doing and some of the conversations that you are having at the British Library and all the other places. If you could share with us, people can come through and, you know, participate in the services.
Thank you so much for mentioning that, because I mentioned it. So one of the good things is, so one of the hats I wear is I'm the life and business coach partner to the British Library's Business and Intellectual Property Centre, which is a resource to help people who are thinking about or starting and running their own business. And now, given the times that we're in and given the last 18 months, a lot of their resources are available free online. www.bl as in British Library.uk/BIPC, Business Intellectual Property Centre. Now, I run, and also people can find it via the soultrader.biz thingy, which you put up, 2 free webinars every month apart from August. One is called Soul Trader, based on Soul Trader books. So if you've been struck by this, it will help you on that journey. And the other one is called Networking for Success, which helps you network effectively and authentically online and in person. So at the moment, they're both being run free online. In the future, again, we'll probably take them back in person for the British Library and so on. But at the moment, the beauty is that you can attend all of those things free online. So I think that my biggest suggestion for anyone who's listening to this is don't just listen. Business is ultimately about action. You know, look up something like British Library Business and IP Centre. There's all sorts of free webinars to help you with everything, planning your ideas. Don't just sit with your idea by yourself. Attend some free stuff. I devoured every free thing going when I first started, because I had been a struggling singer, right? So that's part of what I do at the moment. And the rest of it, most of my time is spent as a leadership coach, coaching managers, leaders, staff, career development in organizations, including the NHS. So most of my day-to-day work is doing that. And I coach a handful of individuals privately. So my life is I'm very, very lucky that my job is coaching people in the workplace and a handful of people in their careers and their lives, or being a motivational speaker, going in and giving talks or online talks and helping people with their confidence, their career planning, or their leadership, or their staff development. And it's a real, I mean, it's an honor, but it took, like any business, it took time to get there.
You say time, it's been about a 20+ year journey, hasn't it, in its entirety? Yeah,
it's been, you know, I mean, it's so interesting because, the coaching journey has been about, best part of 20 years. And also what's interesting, and it's relevant, Simone, for anyone doing anything, all the other stuff that you've done in your life is relevant. So for me, for example, coach, I started off in media and so on. So it's funny what you're saying before about, the stuff here. My first background was in media, so I used to train people to be on. I was on radio in my early 20s and on TV. So I'm used to that. And so I'd say also to people, use all the things that if you're thinking about going into business or anything, know that everything you've ever done will be relevant. But know it's going to take a long time to master your craft. Even with stuff like music, I'm still learning. So I think that life is a constant, ongoing journey, and life constantly is teaching us lessons. But I'm saying that life constantly is teaching us lessons, whether we're paying attention or not. Just like in any class, is a question. Life is constantly teaching us lessons, but very often we're not paying attention. And every experience, including all of the setbacks, especially the setbacks, the challenges, will teach you huge, especially in business, because there'll be all sorts of mistakes, errors that you'll make. Be grateful for them in a way and use them to help you move forward. So, and I think that's something that with time also and awareness, for one, appreciates, because it's funny when you're talking there about time, Simone, that I think that sometimes, I think if I were to reflect back early on, especially when I was trying to pursue a music career, I thought, okay, I've got a few songs, let me just go out there and it's going to happen straight away. And little did I know, it does happen for a few people, but work. And I think one of the biggest myths is that, overnight success, as they say, there's a saying, it can take 10, 20, 30 years to become an overnight sensation. So I'd say to anyone, particularly younger listening, put in the work, find out everything you can about whatever industry it is you're going into, whether it's career or business, learn, study, learn. It takes us back to the thing you were saying about apprenticeships. Learn, listen, learn, and that will make you good. Some people, it might happen very, very quickly, but it can also then go very, very, very quickly. So if you want sustainability, you're going to have to learn, you're going to have to be in there for the long haul and put in the work, and don't be afraid of hard work. And the one thing that saddens me about business is lots of these notions, do this, you'll be this surefire way to be a millionaire, Yeah, right. There are very few shortcuts to anywhere really worth going. So I think that that's really important, that for us to dispel that myth about business. And that takes us back to the clarity. My tip would be, do the thing that you love, because it's going to take, what it's like with the station, it can take years and years and years and years. Pursue the thing that you're passionate about, and your passion will see you through the ups, the downs, the good times, the bad. Look at the last 18 months.
Yes.
The people who really love their businesses are the people who are going to survive this kind of thing, and their customers will flood back because but the ones who they didn't love their customer, it's transactional, they're going to struggle. because people go off somewhere else. But the people who really love their customers, those customers are waiting until they open their doors or their virtual doors, and they will flood back to them.
Excellent.
Rasheed, I want to say thank you.
Thank
We
you.
wouldn't have done this whole month of entrepreneurship without knocking your door and letting you come through and share your nuggets. Learn so many things from you. Listeners, I would suggest, fantastic listeners, I would really suggest you go to his website. It's soul-trader.biz. Rasheed, it's been wonderful. It's been remarkable. Simone, your last word as we walk out of the Fantastic Radio studio doors.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock already, 8:06 really. But yeah, just to thank you and for reminding us that all experiences are foundational and formative to defining who we become now. So, we kind of count it all really, the good and the bad. And hopefully we can reflect on those journeys and say, we're actually on the right path. And also, sort of cherish some of the learning curves through that journey. But I appreciate everything that you said today. And thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure, and all the best to all of your listeners. It's always a joy. Looking forward to next time joining you both.
We should do that, yeah.
Take good care.
What can I say? Thank you, Rasheed. Thank you, Simone. And thank you, listeners. Thank you, Mr. Hanudi. Let's do it on Friday. Bye-bye for now.
Body, not the mind, I'm not the thought, I'm never tired, I am the nameless, I am ageless. You talk a college and a creed you can't define, or confine me, there is no language. I am timeless, for I'm free, free, free. I'm free, free, free. I am free, free, free.
Your logic will get you from A to B. However, your imagination will take you everywhere. This is Britain's Fantastic Radio UK. Your dreams, your possibilities.